Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan. Shaka Khan, let me rock it, Shaka Khan. Let me rock it, that's all I wanna do. Shaka Khan, let me rock it, Shaka Khan. Let me rock it, got a feel for you. Shaka Khan, what you tell me what you wanna do? Do you feel for me the way I feel for you? Shaka Khan, let me tell you what I wanna do. I wanna love you, wanna hug you, wanna squeeze you too. And let me take it in my arms, let me feel you with my charm, Shaka. Cause you know that I'm the one to keep you warm, Shaka. I make it more than just a physical dream. I wanna rock you, Shaka, baby, cause you make me wanna scream. Let me rock it, rock it.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. How's it going? Let's have a round of applause to focus everyone so I know you're listening. Thank you. All right, I've got 7 pages of stuff to get through, so buckle up. Just kidding. I mean, not really, but it is 18-point font double space, so it's not as bad as it looks. It's so wonderful to see everyone this evening. Even though I've been in Louisville for a year and a half, there are still some firsts. This is my first live LVA honors, and that's fantastic. You know, last year I know a bunch of you watched me via YouTube do this presentation where I was wearing a tuxedo and some sweatpants. So it's nice to be able to take the sweatpants off, put on some dress pants, put those Zoom clothes aside, and see everyone out tonight. I want to start by thanking our sponsors for the evening, and in alphabetical order, that's Glenview Trust, IDNA, KiCad, Miranda Construction, Stuart Hertz, Sean Allen, Stockyards Bank and Trust, and We See You Production. So a round of applause for all the sponsors for making this happen tonight. As LVA's executive director, I'm so privileged to have an incredible board. These are people who not only volunteer their time, but actually pay to come and help the arts in this city, and that's an amazing thing. And so I wouldn't be up here without an incredibly supportive board, so thank you to everyone on the board. And special shout out needs to go to those on the board that serve on the honors committee. That's Beverly Cody, Stuart Hertz, Elizabeth Feldpouch, and Marty Keene. Round of applause. You know, I read from this so I don't forget anyone, and I just want you to know that everyone on this committee does not have a name that is pronounced the way that it is spelled. So there's some verbal gym. It's harder than it looks to do this, by the way. Our partners for this evening have all chosen to work with us because they understand that a vibrant arts community supports their businesses, from catering to film production and more. So a heartfelt thank you to Art Sanctuary for hosting us tonight, to Fox Catering, to We See You Productions, to DJ Mad Moon Vibe, Kawaii Mai Cookie Company, and of course the talented Lindsay Frost, who designed and created our awards that you'll see tonight. So thank you to all of them. And last but not least, I also wouldn't be up here without having the privilege to lead an incredible staff. There are 7 incredibly dedicated people working at LVA. From all the small details of this event to everything it is that we do, we've weathered the pandemic together. We've been apart and then back together and then back to apart again. And I can't think of a better sort of group of friends or family, and we all seem to like each other a lot. So if you see some of the LVA staff, they're the ones that really make this tick. So thanks everybody to all of you and you and you and you and you and Grant's back there. And so thanks. Also, the bar is open throughout the program, and this is a little more casual affair than we've done in the past. Feel free to quietly go continue to get cocktails and grab some snacks if you want. That's sort of the way that this format is going. And I'd like to take this moment to introduce LVA Board President Jake Tyson, who'd like to say a few words about also co-helming this organization. Jake.
Whoops. I'm taller than he is, so it's a little hard here. Okay, well, first off, thank you all for being here and coming tonight. We couldn't have this celebration, or really the organization, without all of you being here to help support us, and more importantly, helping us support the life cycle of the artist, which is really our mission at LVA. Can't hear. Can you hear now? Can you hear me now? Hear me now? All right, so really appreciate you all being here. I'm going to start over. Because without you, we couldn't be here today, and we couldn't have this event to think about the artists that are in the community that are really showing us or really making, changes and growing in this community as far as LVA goes. We're here as part of the mission to support the life cycle of the artist, and this is a really great example of that tonight. As you think about, Shohei and, being an emerging artist, I say emerging, but he's also flourishing and has his art around the world. He's done great exhibits. We have Janet Britt, who's been an art educator and influencing students for 3 decades. Claire Hearn, who is not only a working artist, she's been a part of the LVA family for years, and now she's helping to develop and grow a program that will help future artists in years to come. And Mr. William Duffy, who I say Mr. because he's been doing this longer than I've been alive, and I think that is amazing. And he deserves respect not only for what he does, but for how he does it, and of course the amount of time he's been doing it. All that said, you'll hear more about these artists, but I'd be remiss not to honor the audience here tonight. Without you, we wouldn't be able to celebrate these individuals. We wouldn't be able to continue to grow our mission, pressing forward with the existing programs, with new programs that we're developing, and supporting vision of really building a beacon in Portland. All of you know that we have a building, and we've been trying to get there, trying to make it something. Well, we finally are at the point of, we have permitting and process. If anybody knows anybody at the state or city, please help expedite that. We have Miranda Construction, who's standing in the back corner, who are here ready to wait, ready in the wings to prepare getting that going for the first phase. But then also really, more importantly, with that space, we're going to be able to do really great things. Be able to host events, maybe like tonight's. We'll be able to have a classroom in the Portland neighborhood. We'll be able to, have more artists in the loft upstairs to help support that. But then, the other thing that always kind of goes, except for when Christian thanks them a few minutes ago, thinking about the staff going to that building, which is a blessing for us, but we've had this workspace that's not really stellar. We're going to be able to give them a space that they can work in and really be proud of. So as we think about that, we really have this really wonderful vision to have this community center. We just need to get there, So as we think about that, even with, the funds that we're going, and we're growing those, and we're biting one piece off at a time versus trying to wait until we have all the money in our pot to be able to go ahead and do that. So if anybody has a little extra cash, you can throw it at the desk over there to help us with that. But the other thing I want to make sure I mention is the LVA board. We have a lot of people here that you may not know. They have the orange name tags on. Please say hi to them. They do a lot, and you don't necessarily see their faces, but please be sure to say hello, talk to them, and not to mention we have about 6 seats we're trying to fill right now, so if you're interested in becoming part of the family, we'd really like that. But speaking of our mission, I just want to move forward and think more about the honorees from 2022 and pass it back to Christian. So thank you.
How How tall is this man? Good Lord. All right. It's going to be up and down all night. Just the microphone. The program's spot on. Thanks, Jake. It is time to give out our first recognition of the evening, the Emerging Artist. Past recipients include Vinhai Keo, Monica Stewart, Liz Richter, and Jalen Stewart, who I know is right there. Hey, Jalen. Our auspicious group of awardees have continued to grow in their skill and careers, both in Louisville and beyond, and we are certain that this year's awardee will be no exception. In 2022, LVA would like to recognize Shohei Karayama.
I think every artist, at least their parents, usually don't want them to be artists. In my case, I think I was really fortunate enough to have parents that were saying, just do whatever you want. I think they were very supportive, but they were really concerned about, financial outcomes of what an art degree can do. But, I think they also value this idea that it can enrich people's lives. Part of my art practice is to providing venues for other artists to explore their own works and their disciplines. Yeah, it's part about just bringing people together from different various backgrounds and creating the space where everybody kind of stands equally within a gallery space, and I think that's really important. I always long for like a sense of this community, to connect with people. How can you, increase group cohesiveness within a culture or a small community? I think art is important, especially during these ecologically, socially, politically precarious times. It provides like a platform essentially for people to openly discuss and find like-minded peers to talk about these bigger issues that we can't really handle by ourselves. I value LVA for their community engagement, their education programs, and most of all, they're kind of like family. I really appreciate all the support that they've given me in the past and the unique collaborative experiences I've had. They do so much in terms of just supporting local artists. I don't really know what it means to be an emerging artist, because aren't we always emerging? We're always emerging because we're always trying to get to the next level, or get to the next discipline, or get to the next content that we always want to pursue and be. It's just another step towards becoming who we want to be, right? Receiving this award is really humbling, but the only reason why I'm here today is because of the supportive community, mentors, friends, and peers, and I wouldn't be where I am today without them.
And here to present the award to Shohei and to say a few words is CAICAB professor and LVA board member Andrew Cousins.
Sorry, Christian, I'm going to do it again. Is that okay? I'll squat a little bit. Good. Hey, everybody. So I guess I got to start off by being honest. It's really difficult to introduce somebody like Shohei because, for one, most of you probably either know him personally, you've worked with him, or you've seen his work around multiple times. And I don't have enough time up here to read through his resume, and if you know Shohei, it's really long. He does a lot. But just to get some of the low-hanging fruit, he won an Artist Award from MTV. He has an upcoming solo exhibition at the Mattress Factory in Pittsburgh, which is a big deal. And he also got a residency with a small business called Facebook. So he's all over the place. So I'm just going to tell you a couple things that come to mind when I think of how long I've known Shohei and some of the experiences we've had. We've had some overlaps, but I think we first actually met at an exhibition at a space called the Local Speed, if you guys remember that. And so we hung out a little bit afterwards, and within a couple months, he asked me, hey, could you come give me a hand working on a sculpture at Larry Lindana's house? And, I was trying to be a good buddy, and I was like, yeah, sure, yeah. What I didn't know is Shohei's day starts at 5 in the morning, and mine does not. So here we are at 3:30 in the morning, just painting this stuff on this big outdoor sculpture, and I also didn't know that it had to be done before the sun comes up because it's part of the curing process. And I don't think outside of waking up with my daughter, I don't think I've been up that early and out of the house since. And since then, we've shown together, we've collaborated, we've worked together, and currently we're colleagues and teaching together at KiCad. So again, this is probably stuff a lot of you all know, but he does everything and he's everywhere. And if, as many of you probably know, he was here, then he left Louisville, and then he actually came back, which is awesome. We always love to see that. And it's not only awesome for the people who know Shohei personally, but it's actually really awesome for the arts community. Before he left, he started a small gallery down in Louisville called ThinkBox, and it had some really great exhibitions. And again, he works fast, and so he's been back for, sorry, I'm trying to find him, a year and a half, maybe, 2 years. And he already has opened up another space called Carbon Copy down on Oak and 4th. And if you haven't been, it's an amazing thing we have here in Louisville. It's a big open space. I think you just saw him skateboarding around it. But it's for artists to work as big as you want and to really do experimental work. And again, I think we're all really fortunate to have something like that here. So I'll stop there, and please help me embarrass Shohei as he comes up here and gets his award.
Yeah, God, you're really tall. It's such an honor to receive this award. Thank you so much. That's it.
Well, all right. A variety of heights, a variety of speech lengths. We're all over the place tonight. Can you all believe that LVA is 113 years old? 113. We are the oldest arts nonprofit in Louisville, although we're still 100 years behind our amazing free library, but 113 years. For 98 of those years, CFAC has been one of our anchor programs, which stands for Children's Fine Art Classes. And we started embarking down this road of continued excellence all those years ago. It's been our flagship program, and it's not a stretch to say that over 50,000 students have been served by our CFAC program, and that's a ton. I mean, that's an applause point. To that end, as a nonprofit that has always held education in its foundation, each year we recognize excellence in arts education and honor an amazing teacher in the arts. Past recipients of this award include Wilma Bethel, Jim Grabola, Shay Rhodes, and Kevin Ashford. In 2022, LVA would like to honor the educational prowess of Janet Britt.
As long as I can remember, making art and being creative has grounded me and helped me feel awake and alive. And there came a point in my life after I had 2 daughters that I wanted to help support my family. So a lovely opportunity opened up at St. Francis School, and I stepped into the classroom a little green and I'm really scared. And in no time, I realized how much the children's openness and curiosity and bravery helped me, find joy again. So I was always sort of looking for signs that I was doing it right. And one day I knew I had it because this boy came in and he said, "Miss Brett, guess what? I threw up 2 times this morning, but I came anyway because we had art." So I knew then, okay. One of the most touching experiences I have had has been spending time with children at St. Joe's who are there for a variety of reasons, but they are amazing, young, resilient people. And we've done some really powerful projects, and some have been ordinary. And I photographed each of the children in the group and then took their profile photograph and cut it out of wood. It was a self-portrait project, and the point was to encourage them to look within and express how they see themselves. One girl described her finished artwork, including the emotional struggles she's had and the coping skills she is learning, and she concluded, "I'm just learning to love myself more." And that is so powerful, really significant to be in the presence of kids with so many struggles and see them learn to help themselves through art. It's pretty cool. I feel like LVA became my second career and sort of a soft nest for me to land in after 19 years in a classroom. And I finally realized when I looked around that I don't have to defend anything about the visual arts because LVA gets it. You know, they get it. When I was informed that I had received this honor, I was shocked and touched and completely surprised because I felt so lucky already. I was already doing what I loved, and I know so many great teachers out there, but it meant a lot. It was like a vote from my fellow artists, and the people behind the scenes at LVA work so hard doing things I wouldn't want to do to give me the chance to have fun in the classroom.
All right, and here to say a few words about Janet is LVA's Education Director, Annette Cable.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. When I started teaching children's fine art classes for Louisville Visual Art, two teachers captured my attention most. Wilma Bethel, who received this award the first year we gave it out, and Janet Britt, who is receiving it today. Both of these teachers had a student following, almost a cult-like following. I was and still am fortunate to get to talk with Wilma about students, the elements of art, and teaching, and I still love our long conversations. When I became the LVA Summer Camp Coordinator, I was lucky enough to work with many, many, many wonderful, talented teachers and watched and learned from them all. My hope for teaching was just to spark one kid. When I walked into Janet Britt's painting lab camp, all the kids were sparkling. The quiet kids, the arty kids, the chatty kids, the fast kids, and Janet was sparkling too. You could almost see their little camper brains concentrating and creating. It was like a bunch of little engines who knew they could. A young artist in one of Janet's classes can expect to be cared for as an artist and a person. They will come out of her class with a portfolio full of drawings and paintings and sculptures, a well-researched research project like her endangered species project, where most likely she spent hours on her squirrel saw cutting out polar bears and wolves and other wild creatures. The kids will know the knowledge and have knowledge and confidence to talk about their projects and advise other students about their projects. She has a special chair that she pulls out in every class just for sharing and reflection, and this is a place of honor. The important artist skill of observation improves self-esteem, respect for other students in the room, the courage to experiment, and the value of learning a mistake, the comfort of an artist community, and many, many, many proud smiles. That student will not be able to wait to get back into Janet's art class. the next day, the next week, or the next year. Janice once told me, "I'm really happy in an art room full of curious kids, and those kids are really happy in a room taught by Janet Britt." It is my honor to present the 2022 LVA Educator of the Year Award to one of my mentors, my fellow teacher and friend, Janet Britt.
Gosh, it's a little overwhelming, all the love. But I knew early on that I would probably not get wealthy teaching art. But I thought what I didn't know, and that I have learned over 30-something years, is that I've had a really rich and meaningful life. And that's because kids and art are meant to be together. And I am so grateful for this gift. I want to thank Lindsay Frost, who made this beautiful bowl collaboration with nature and man, and I'm going to treasure it. LVA, we need the arts, and I'm grateful for everything you do for our whole community. And I'd like to share this, I would like to share it with all the other artists and art teachers out there who make a mess every day with kids and love it like I do. Thank you.
Any words that we say after that, I'd like, take a pause. I mean, thank you. As I mentioned earlier, LVA is 113 years old, and that type of longevity would not be possible without a base of financial support over the years that has been deep and broad. To that end, LVA decided to recognize benefactors and donors whose generosity not only impacted LVA, but had a broad reach out into the community beyond just our organization. The past recipients of this benefactor award include Porter Watkins, who is watching from home. Hi, Porter. Yep, yeah, exactly. A round of applause for Porter. So, the recently departed Reverend Al Shands, and that was a huge loss for our community, but a generous person to the entire community. Nana Lampton and Chef Edward Lee. In 2022, LVA is excited to recognize the vision and generosity of Claire Hearn.
I have an early memory of when I first encountered Louisville visual art. As a third grader, I was invited to participate in the after-school drawing fine art classes. Becoming an artist is a process, of course, and it actually wasn't until later in my years that I could truly call myself an artist. But I've always loved drawing. I grew up drawing. I've been an artist for probably going on 40 years. And I did a lot of work as a mural painter, working in spaces, working for people. And I think that my supporting the arts directly stems out of me being an artist, that I, as an artist, experienced how best to support an artist and how best to support the arts community. Like, where do the arts really, really honestly serve the community? And I experienced it because when I was on site, on a job, in a public space, in a hospital, I experienced how much it meant to everybody walking down that hallway. Art works in immeasurable ways, art works in unseen ways, art works in very seen ways. And supporting visual artists here in Louisville, Kentucky will help propel our city forward. Our city in the next 5 years has some real decisions to make, and I truly, honestly believe that the visual arts play a big role in a healthy society. Stepping into this new role of benefactor, I know firsthand from personal experience how to help an artist, how to support an artist. I have teamed up with LVA to bring to life Curate, Purchase, Inspire. And the beauty of this program is it will put actual dollars in artists' pockets, meaningful dollars. market prices. And then the artwork will have its life out in the community. Being recognized by LVA honors caught me off guard. It's an amazing way for my life to circle back around to LVA once again. It started off early, and here we are. I never would have believed 50 years later, having such an opportunity to unite with LVA in a really amazing project.
And here to present the award to Claire is Jim Walters, Director of Master Planning at Joseph & Joseph Architects.
Good evening. I'm an architect, been around for a while, and came to Louisville to work for Humana and became vice president for their development and design program and all the hospitals they build. And then I formed Revere Corporation in '91 and merged that with Joseph & Joseph Architects 2 years ago, just before the pandemic. Talk about timing. That was great. So I came to know Claire's father in the late 70s through the fact that he was representing me as an attorney, and became lifelong friends with he and his wife and ultimately his family, including Claire and her brothers. And her parents were always very supportive of her interest in the arts. And I attended many gallery showings and different things that Claire did along the line that were milestones in her career. And I had the opportunity when we did the Waterfront Park Place Tower down on the riverfront, she got the commission to do an epic mural in that lobby. I don't know if you've ever seen that or not, but it's worth a trip in and take a look. It basically is a depiction of the relationship of Louisville, the site of Louisville, to the river from prehistoric times until the present day. And very interesting, and I had a chance to be the critic on that for over a period of time. And her parents have both passed away in recent years, and we've experienced that loss together. And we've continued our relationship, and she has, I won't go into the family stuff about the Santa Claus things and all that, but they asked me, please stay away from that. So, okay, I think in all my discussions with her, we've talked a lot about the importance of criticism. And I don't mean criticism in being, negative. The idea of criticism is makes you better. You get other people's opinion about your work. And I think in Louisville, my personal view is that we could benefit more from published criticism of architecture and art in ways that exalts the good things, and it points out what's lacking and the things that are not so good just because they're new. So I think that what she has, when it came to the opportunity to do something, what's interesting to me is rather than do something that benefited her or came from her work or her endeavors, she had this idea that's kind of been brewing for a long time, I think, about creating demand for art. So it's kind of like the recycling business. You can recycle all this stuff and we can turn our bins in every week. If there's no market for it, so what? It goes in the landfill probably. So what she is doing here, and I think is very important, is she's creating a demand. First of all, she's creating a critique. She's creating a curatorial attitude in people that didn't know they were going to be curators. She's then allowing them to purchase art from local artisans, and it's not a gift to them, it's not a subsidy, it's buying their stuff at market prices, creating a demand, and then putting it on display in public places and paying the people to take care of it and creating a provenance for all of this work, which I think 20 years from now is going to be a really interesting and important thing. So all of you are creative, all of you are involved in the arts, all of you involved in creating things. And I think we should encourage everyone that we know to participate in this and to try to, become good curators, good critics, good, purchasers and wise presenters and taking care of these things over a long period of time. What better idea could this be? And it's really so clear, I can't believe it. I mean, it's just clear. And she has a selflessness about it, and it's interesting that, rather than this being a grant or money from somebody who appreciates the arts and gives to artists, this is from within. This is from an artist to the artistic community. I think it's wonderful. And here you are.
This bowl reminds me of my dad because he was a woodworker as well as an attorney. I just have a few words. And mostly I just want to say thank you. Thank you to all of you for coming out tonight, because it means you believe in some of the same things I believe in, which is the arts. To many people, I say thank you, and also to the universe. We achieve different milestones in our life through community. Community, the word community is taking on ever more dimensions to me as I gain another year. I have a loving and supporting family and friends. I have a beautiful mentor who is an awesome Santa Claus as well. And now I have LVA even again. I keep circling around to LVA throughout my life, and it's just thrilling to me to be able to partner with them in this endeavor. They've been amazing, helping bring this to life in a way that I dreamt about it, but was completely daunted. And to see it coming to fruition is just, it's amazing. And because just as we achieve our individual greatness through community, a community achieves its greatness and overall health by having artwork in it. And with LVA's help, we're going to make another little dent in that, whatever it is. Thank you.
On the heels of Claire's recognition and generosity, this is what is called a segue, and it's a good time in the evening when I have to do my job to remind you that LVA is a nonprofit and we cannot continue to support the arts ecosystem without all sorts of generous support from you. Asking for donations is always a bit of a challenge. It's uncomfortable. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time and I'm still uncomfortable because it's vulnerable. We talk about the things that we love. We talk about our mission. We talk about the programs. We talk about the lives that we touch. And it's personal. It's personal to me, and you can clearly tell by the speeches that this is personal to everyone who's up here. But it makes it a little easier in that I believe, and you can tell that everyone who came up here, our staff, our board, and all of you believe in that same mission too. The money that we raise here tonight supports not only things like our children's art classes, which is a launch pad for artists like Claire, who, again, like she said, has come circling back to the organization, but it also helps us with assist artists by teaching them things like copyright and taxes. And I know a couple of our instructors for that series are here. And perhaps most importantly, it's going to help build out our warehouse in Portland that Jake was telling you about so we can better serve both the youth and adult communities of the West End. Because LVA, well, our CFAC classes and our kids' education are sort of the bedrock of what it is that we do. We serve the entire life cycle of an artist. So there are donation envelopes everywhere. There are QR codes on tables that link to our website, to Venmo. Basically, any way, if you want to give me gold Krugrands, I'll take them. Hey, I want to make it easy for you to give me money. And over there, I don't know if you saw, but we have a sponsor a tile program. So if you want to sponsor a tile and have anyone's name or your logo on that, feel free, and it'll be featured in our renovated facility. And Miranda will help us with that. All right, thank you for your generosity. And now it's time for our final award of the evening. And it's a chance to recognize a person who has given their life to the arts of Louisville. Whether as an artist, an educator, an advocate, or all of the above, the recipients of the Legacy Award have left the type of mark wherein, if they had not contributed their time and talents to the community, Louisville would be noticeably less vibrant. Elmer Lucille Allen, Ed Hamilton, Billy Hertz, John Bagley, and now, in 2022, we are so excited to be adding William Duffy to this roster of luminaries.
I came into sculpture in an odd sort of way. Now, in art school, they taught us how to make things and cut up wood. We're using bandsaws and stuff, and I think that's what led me to for a need to try my hand at sculpture. I had this one piece in marble. And the piece it was an abstract piece, it's called Spread Your Wings, right? So it was out of white marble, and when I saw it in the paper in black and white, but when I saw it, and I saw the article written up and on, automatically I went to, that's what I'm going to do. That's where I want to be from now on. Louisville has a great tradition of producing artists. There's a young lady, Lanaya Roberts. I taught her when she was in the 4th grade. To this day, she's always thanking me for taking time to work with her. But that's what it's about. We have to continue on with the tradition of reaching back and helping someone, and that's always been my first motivation. So in all, about 40 years of teaching after-school programs in churches and community centers, and I taught from 1st grade all the way up to college level. Receiving this honor, I mean, LVA has been a part of my life for the most part of my life, and I have participated in creating awards and stuff for Louisville Visual Arts for a long time, and so to be able to actually receive it myself is I'm just honored. I couldn't believe it. I still don't believe it, but the award just means so much to me, and it's a way of saying to me, it's like, hey, we recognize you've been busy, you've been doing things, so now it's your turn.
And to present the award is a fellow Louisville sculptor, David Caudill.
Hearing that LVA is over 100 years old is quite a reminder of how old we are. Duff and I have been friends for a long time, since art school. And lately, we've become partners in a project that we'll mention in a few minutes. But it is such an honor to present this award to him. Duff has been an award-winning artist for many years. He spent a lot of time teaching kids. He's inspired people to be more creative, and perhaps our culture is only now realizing how important it is for people to look up to people who look like them. I could tell you a lot of stories about Duff. He probably wouldn't want me to tell him. But I just want to say he's one of the finest people I've ever known. He's a great family man. He's contributed to his community and left a legacy that any of us would be proud of. So Duff, come up here and get this. Duffy is being accompanied by his very tolerant wife, this woman who's been putting up with him for a long time.
That's a nice piece. Enjoy that. I bring my wife up because this is a legacy award, and without a good person standing beside you, front, back, to the side, overhead, even underneath, you don't create a legacy. This young lady right here has been by my side, and we have fought some battles, and we're still fighting battles, and she's still fighting me to stay on track, stay true to the arts. So I couldn't have done any of this without her. She's my rock. So I accept this award, and I just want to say just a few words too. I stepped into teaching kids because when I was little, I was always getting into trouble in school, and it started in kindergarten. So there was a time when they would pass out these mimeographed drawings of it was a Little Red Riding Hood. And I was the only one in class that grabbed a brown crayon and did a brown Red Riding Hood. And it shocked my kindergarten teacher. And she called my mom and said, keep an eye on him. Well, I'm thinking, okay, what did I do in school that, that I have to lie about and try to say that I was really a good boy in school. But what she meant was he's doing something other than the norm. He's gone outside the circles. I didn't think anything about it. All I knew was brown people. So and so Red Riding Hood to me was brown. But you roll years later, and one other point I want to make, it was the second grade. There was a guy in my class, his name was William Logan, and he had this drawing of Popeye. It was a line drawing, and it was just so clean, and it just struck me. and I asked him if I could have it, and I come to find out later his brother did it, and he was tracing it off of something. So I took it home. He brought one to school for me, and I started tracing on it. And then before long, I was like, I don't see how I could do with it just by my side. And so I started drawing, just looking at it. And then it wasn't too long after that, I was able to still see that piece of paper sitting beside me, but it was in my mind, and I could draw it. And so that's how all the drawing started for me. That's how I started out. But the very first start was when I was about 4 or 5. I was playing in a field next to my house, and there was a rock laying out in the field. And when I picked it up, something went through me, and it said, "You'll be doing something like this, later on in life." Well, I couldn't figure that out because I'd never had that sensation before or since. But that rock, I threw down. I think about it even today. That was like God telling me this, like, well, this is where you're headed. And so here it is today. I'm almost 70, but here I am today, still carving and enjoying the arts. And my folks said, you always remember someone helped you, so you reach back and you help someone. So, having said that, I'm going to take this and I'm going to be out of you all's way. Thank you. Thank you. Did you want to say something? And I'm running my mouth so much, I'm in trouble again. Sherry is my wife.
If there's one thing that curators, art historians, and directors like, it's using big words, and it's not often that I get to use the word verklempt in its appropriate place, but I mean, what an evening of speeches and all that, where, we were verklempt there. We were moved to thank you, everybody. I mean, I love ending on a high note, so thank you, Duffy. Congratulations again to all of our honorees. Thank you for attending the 5th annual celebration. Duffy, you're going to be on a wooden nickel next year, so get ready for that. There's more to come. One last reminder that the QR codes and envelopes are scattered around for donations. The bar is still open. There are still appetizers, so please partake of all of those. Thank you again for supporting LVA, for your presence this evening, and hopefully we see you at Art Squared. And one last round of applause for our amazing slate of honorees. Thank you all, and enjoy the music and enjoy some snacks.